You have to be careful about making a weird show or watching a weird show.
Hello! This is Craig Smalley on Pod 366, a Weird Movies podcast with something in my throat, and also joined by Giles Edwards this week, as I often am.
Hello!
With yellow filter in his glasses.
Ah.
Is that new or?
It's intermittent, so yeah.
How are you, Giles? How is the weather treating you?
Well, I think we're going to turn a corner from February into Smarch weather for those of you who know the Simpsons Halloween special with the calendar misprint, which, well, Smarch isn't great, but it's going to be a nice step forward from the very, very cold we've had on top of ice and snow.
Yes, you probably have a little bit more snow coming if you haven't gotten it yet, but we had here yesterday and the day before, and it's been snowing fairly constantly, but not much accumulation, but the temperature has been very far below freezing, and we'll get up above freezing this weekend, and then we should be in the clear here. So, with the weather report out of the way, I guess we can go on to talk about the week's weird news. Not a lot, actually pretty much nothing debuting this week, so it's only news pretty much that we have to share. And so let's get right to it. Here's what's kind of on the itinerary, and we are going to start with a news item here. Do you want to describe, Giles, this corporate logo?
Oh, I'll give it a crack, sure. So we've got white background here, but the exciting bit in the middle is a nice deep kind of blue here, at least through these yellow filter I got going on. There's a smiling, wide-faced entity, sort of capsule-shaped with big eyes on either side and a little smiley face in the middle. Above it, attached or somehow being held, is a rather simple stylized umbrella, and this little creature is standing fairly upright on a pair of curved leg things with little foots. And around the side, explaining the umbrella, are what appear to be white raindrops.
Okay. And it is, there's the name underneath it?
Yes. Ame Pippin? Ame Pippin?
That's a good guess. I think it's probably Ame Pippin. Ame Pippin? Ame Pippin? Amy Pippin? I don't know. Ame Pippin? A-M-E, and then Pippin, the way you expect Pippin to be spelled. And it is a new studio, which is not, I guess, something we normally report on, except that it's the person that has founded it is rather interesting and remarkable. So we can expect maybe some new things coming from the founder, who is Masaaki Yuasa, I think is how you pronounce it, who you should know from Mind Game and maybe from The Night is Short, Walk On Girl, and then from also from perhaps Inuo, which are the three of his movies I believe we've covered. He also had a segment in Genius Party that we covered. Giles, did you cover Genius Party? Yes.
That's a good question.
That was a anthology.
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
His Masaaki Yuasa's entry in that was called Happy Machine.
Okay, let me scroll down here. Doorbell limits like Happy Machine. Oh yeah, that was one of the droller of the inclusions in that. Some really neat, fun, very line-focused animation. So that was a highlight of a generally good string of anime shorts.
I don't know why he needed a new studio. He had a previous studio, which he released Inuo and so forth from. But this one has some very good collaborators and partners involved. It's again, I don't know. Asmic Ace is how I think you pronounce it, but they were the team behind, partially behind Tekkon Kincrete, which is another certified canonically weird movie, and Paranoia Agent, the anime limited series from Satoshi Kon, also very weird. So that's a very weird collaborator. Then they're also involved with Aniplex, who does the not weird but very popular Demon Slayer series, and Comics Wave Films, who does Your Name and Weathering. What is it? Weathering with You, which are two theatrically released animes that have done very good business. So there's a lot of reach there. Demon Slayer and the Your Name movies get very good distribution, while Tekkon Crete and Paranoia Agent bring the weirdness along with Yuasa's natural weirdness. So we're hoping, no projects have been announced, but we're hoping to see some great stuff from that studio, and it's somewhat exciting. But let's move on to things that do exist in cinematic form already. And here's the first one we're going to discuss, and Giles will be happy, I'm sure, to describe this still we have before us.
All right. Well, this still is predominantly a sort of blackscape with stylized snow coming down. I say stylized because they're very obviously trying to make an image of snow while it is simultaneously not snow. It looks like squares of white at different angles shimmering, but very nice effect. And centered in this image, shoulders up through the top of her tiara, is a youngish woman, as a very, I'm going to say a long-necked youngish woman, or at least with a neck highlighted, whose length is highlighted by the close tailored turtleneck kind of thing she's wearing. That is this soft, snowy-looking white fabric. She has an old, like 1920s, early 30s style woman, actress, film star haircut. That is, it's white hair, of course. Above that hair is a silvery, glittery tiara kind of thing. And her face is, well, improbably attractive, very good line, slightly dimpled chin, somewhat cast in shadow on the right-hand side, heavy eye makeup covering her top eyelids up to below her eyebrows, and that makeup is a silvery, glowy, snowy kind of look too, with some looks almost like some snowflakes on her eyelashes. And her expression, I don't know. It could be one of fatigue or lack of hope. Or maybe she's just sort of caught in the middle of a different expression entirely.
Okay, and she's got like a crown that could have ice on it, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely icy motifs going on with this.
Icy motifs.
Yeah, with
She could
towering
be.
bits on that crown.
She could be even like a snow queen, maybe.
Could be.
A snow queen
Yeah.
type. I bet this young actress, Giles, is older than you by a good bit because she's 49. So
Okay. Well,
she looks
I
very
commend
young.
her.
She looks very young. Uh, the ever youthful Marion Cotillard in a movie called Giles,
La Tour de Glace.
The Tour de Glace, or The Ice Tower in English. And it is a movie from a director who we have extensively covered and have named one of her movies canonically weird. That would be Innocence, and whose name I doubt I can pronounce, but I'm going to give it a try. And maybe we'll have Giles give it his try. She's Lucile Hadzihalilovic. Hadzihalilovic.
Hadzihalilovic. Yeah,
It's
Lucile
probably a
Hadzihalilovic.
yeah.
Lucille Hadzihalilovic. Yeah.
Hadzihalilovic. Anyway, yeah, she's
With
very
with
talented.
apologies to Lucille.
Yes, uh, indeed, very talented director who we've covered extensively, and she is a frequent collaborator, we'll say, of Gaspar Noé, who another director who we've covered very frequently, and who appears in this in a rare acting role as the director of the movie within the movie. And the movie, as far as we can tell from the brief synopsis, is about a young teenage runaway who finds herself on a film set. And on the film set, they are filming an adaptation of the fairy tale, the Ice Queen. And the young girl has a sort of relationship with the actress Marion Cotillard, who's playing the Snow Queen, and things being that it's from Lucille H, we'll call her for the time being. You know, it's going to be.
Mademoiselle H. We can do it nice in French there.
How do you have a pronunciation for us?
Oh no, just that I was thinking Mademoiselle H would be the first letter of her last name there.
Oh, okay. I see. Mademoiselle Ash. Okay, so we definitely expect it to be super weird, I would think. The last movie Lucille H. Ash did was Earwig, which we had a similar theme in that there was a girl with teeth made of ice in it. And but that one didn't get any sort of distribution at all. I've seen her first Innocence, and then her second feature Evolution. Also, third one did not really make it out to the United States, and so we are hoping that this one does a lot better, particularly with the sort of actors that are involved. I think they'll draw some interest in getting some distribution out here. Giles, did you see like the clip from it?
Yeah, I had to check if my sound was on at the start because it's a very quiet 50 or so seconds that I guess encapsulates the plot in its way, and that we see the young heroine of the film in what looks like a sort of secret hideaway spot, observing this actress as she is performing her role as the Ice Queen in the movie within the movie. I guess a good contrast of the closed claustrophobic space that the young girl is spying from onto the sort of unknown depths of the soundstage that she is observing. So I mean, these are people who know how to make quality productions, and that was all on display there.
Yes, very. The clip, I think, just is kind of a mood establisher.
Yeah.
The film is at the Berlin Film Festival right now. It debuted for the first time February 16th, so just a few days ago. Not done its run there yet. I have not read any advanced reviews of it, but there's certainly some degree of buzz about it. So very hopeful. This one is going to be weird. And very hopeful that we will get the chance to see it within the coming year, or 2026 at the very latest. And that is at the Berlin Film Festival. And speaking of film festivals, we're going to move on to a festival that we will be covering remotely, or at least Giles will be covering remotely. And I guess, Giles, you could describe this corporate logo. It won't take too long.
Sure. Yeah, this is a broad band you might find either at the top or the bottom of a website. It is an eye-catching red with little black smudges in and around it as various backers of the festival are listed, and in the center is the name of this festival, where this festival is, the dates of the festival, and off to the left-hand side of that is, of all things, a left hand curled up in not quite a fist, but more maybe somewhere around like a claw, leaving a spot here in the center between the thumb and pointer finger, in which we see an eye with a red iris looking out directly at us.
And there it is, in glorious close-up. So the festival is,
Slamdance.
and beginning February 20th, which is what, today?
Today, as we
As we
record
record
this,
this, and ending the 26th. And it's Slam Dance. Slam Dance sort of in a period of transition. Uh, they were used to run concurrently with Sundance as kind of an even more indie festival than the Sundance. When Sundance got too commercial, Slam Dance popped up as kind of the micro budget version of Sundance. Used to play concurrently with Sundance. Now the Sundance is leaving Park City, Utah. I believe this is probably their last year that the festival's there fully. Slamdance already pulled up and relocated to Los Angeles, and they're having their festival now a couple weeks later than Sundance. So the association between the two appears to be broken, but Slamdance, maybe being in Los Angeles, can get a higher profile, and being separate from Sundance, maybe be able to come more of its own thing. As I said, usually they focus, not always, but they focus on much lower budget movies, and usually they are from first-time directors. Not always from first-time directors. I'm not sure what their rules for inclusion are, but they are usually or frequently from first-time directors. And I selected two movies that I thought would be interesting for us to cover from Slamdance. Giles will also look at a bunch of shorts, but before I get into the two movies I selected to talk about, Giles, did you have anything else you're looking forward to at Slamdance that's not on that two-movie list?
yeah, there's one feature that would be a long shot, but the premise of a laundromat with a portal to hell seemed interesting enough to me to at least give that a look. And yeah, within the dozens of short film options, I will be watching all of the animation block, because as you know, I enjoy my cartoons, and the experimental block has never disappointed me either, and a couple other things there. So I'll have a big chunky post with a number of remarks about a number of different short films forthcoming.
And the name of the movie about the portal to hell is
Portal to Hell.
Portal to Hell. Yes, just so. I have seen a clip from. Did you see a clip from Portal to Hell?
I have not.
Oh, okay. I saw a clip from Portal to Hell, and I will say that it was very professionally done. It's a comedy about this portal to hell in a laundromat. The acting was very good, and they had good comic timing. And just on the basis of that one clip, I would say probably not weird, but I think it has potential to be kind of a breakout film by Slamdance standards.
Huh.
But the two movies that I wanted to focus on, and as always, this being Slamdance, smaller festival, there is not a guarantee that these are going to get any kind of larger distribution, but we can hope. But for the first one, Giles, just describe the poster which I have here.
Well, we have, well, just since many of our viewers and listeners will know the vibe, if I say a sort of Madden-esque black and white, in that it's pretty gray. It's It's looks okay. Yes, it is. It is a gray lawn below a cloudy sky. The title is done in a delightfully jagged sort of creature feature kind of font. And what we see on the lawn are a small figure looking up at a large top of the head. I'd say the top of this head is about 2 to 3 times as tall as the figure, only, I don't know, about 10 yards away at most. And that's if you include the very large head's hair. This large head, we see a squinting fellow, top of his nose, looking through a pair of glasses at the small figure, and on top of the very large head is a glorious coif of not quite pompadour hair, but still lots of life in that. And off to the excuse me, right-hand side, looking perhaps gravely, perhaps quizzically at the closer of the very, very large heads emerging from the lawn, is an obviously older head, and either, I don't know, maybe smaller, or it might just be positioned slightly higher, and that we see just above the upper lip of this older gentleman's head, nose, and again, this sort of furrowed brow as this head looks upon the very other very large head, which looks upon the very small figure. And I suppose it's worth mentioning now that I've taken a closer peek here. The very small figure's head looks very similar to the closer of the two large heads with glasses, suggesting that these are one and the same form, albeit at different scale.
Yes, and the title written in that jagged font above the
In the mouth.
in the mouth. Yeah, so I don't know what the title refers to. Apparently, the synopsis for the film is about an agoraphobic who can't leave his house because of the giant head of himself in his front lawn, and yet gets a roommate uh, who then reveals, this older gentleman, who then reveals a secret about himself, what they call a two-hander, just two actors, basically the whole time. Did see the trailer. Did you see the trailer, Giles?
No, I did not. I
What?
was gonna
Okay.
dive into this blind.
Okay. Um, From the trailer, as I said, what we have is this agoraphobic young man about to get evicted, needs a roommate, gets this older man as a roommate. Older man may be creepy and have secrets of his own. The giant head in the lawn does appear in the trailer. The descriptions really focus on the giant head. The trailer did not focus on the giant head. It's not clear to me how often the giant head or how persistent the giant head is, um, and whether it's like just a hallucination or whatever. But Giles will find out when he views it. So that is called In the Mouth, and we will refer to it as the Giant Head movie from Slamdance.
Yeah.
And the next movie we'll be checking out and focusing
Cruises.
on here is the much more abstract kind of looking poster for this one.
Yeah.
Giles.
All right. Well, we have, as you say, Greg, an abstract-looking poster. The images all appear within a frame within the poster frame. The surrounding frame of white has pretty much all the major names involved, as you'd expect in any standard movie poster thing. And the inner area, which is predominantly black, has the film title with the probably certainly the director, he might have written it as well. And as for what this stripe of image down the middle is, it's a collage kind of thing. It's black and white. And I guess we're looking at 4 to 5 different faces in parts of, I'm going to guess, 3 different people, judging from the similarities I see with some of the fracturing of the facial, features and expressions there. It kind of, I don't know, I'm feeling kind of a thriller vibe. Like this is some sort of thriller, and obviously in a slam dance kind of way, since that's not generally what they overtly have on display here. there's an aura of mystery in that these fractured images are rather misassembled, and but one of them is very clearly that concerned person on old telephone kind of look that means there's some bad news somewhere somehow that whoever our protagonist is will have to face something at least unpleasant over the course of this thing. So all told, the plot, which I read up on, is not really translated in any way by this image, but it from my quick reading of what this is about, it did seem certainly worth our attention.
And the title?
Universe 25, although the way the 2 is inscribed on the poster, it almost looks like universe to the power of 2, 5.
Hmm. Um, so, Universe 25, I'm not sure where this title comes from, but the thing it refers to is a experiment. Do you know the experiment, Universe 25, Giles? I guess he
Ah,
tried 24 more experiments before
I
reporting
am
on what happened in 25.
unfamiliar.
It's an experiment about overpopulation in a mouse colony.
Ah,
The mice were given very luxurious mice um, uh, residences, I guess. And as the population grew uh, and turned into overpopulation and they were overcrowded, the mice developed some very antisocial behaviors and
hmm.
sexual deviance and bad behavior in general. So it's considered a illustration of what happens due to overpopulation. So that's where the title comes from. Um, but the plot description doesn't seem to reference that concept at all. So it'll be interesting to see how those come together. The plot synopsis, as taken from the Slamdance site, is a young postman is tasked with sorting out lost post. Upon reading an opened letter written by an author who claims to be an angel from the future, the postman embarks on a fantastical journey and attempts to get to the letter to its intended destination. And so, Giles, I'm guessing you didn't watch the trailer to this either?
I did not.
Okay. Trailer doesn't reveal anything really about the plot beyond what we have. It's one of those that just shows a bunch of scenes of characters in various expressions and doing various things. The most arresting image from the trailer is of a man doing like deep knee bends with a large, heavy crucifix strapped to his back.
Oh,
Could be
oh.
the angel from the future that we're talking about. Partially in black and white, partially in color, and I think rather confusingly, there is another recent movie named Universe 25, a horror movie that is not this one. So if you're looking for Universe 25, you might turn up the wrong movie, or at least not the movie that we're referencing here. And it's a British Romanian co production and a fantasy. So, sound weird?
Oh, sounds promising. I mean, if it pursues either or both of the, either the plot description or the experiments, or somehow perhaps combining the two, yeah, I am quite looking forward to this one as well.
Okay. So that does it for the three festival kind of features, which we'll have to see what kind of distribution they end up getting and where they come out. I would be expected to see the Ice Tower because of who's in it, but I guess that's not a guarantee. But here's one that you definitely can see. We've
Oh,
discussed it before. I recently did the review of it. It's now on VOD, which is why we're mentioning it. Giles has described this poster before, I believe,
mhm.
this very one. Would you like to do it again quickly?
Yeah, well, this is a romance movie poster. Upper right-hand side, we have handsome fellow, and he's gazing into the eyes in the lower left-hand side of attractive woman with mutual feelings of deep connection, but superimposed or back imposed. Not sure how the planes are arranged on this. The young woman's face has upon it, within it, in front of it, behind it, an image of a buoy with little, looks like a little antennae hookup on the top and a searchlight angled, pointing at the man's face. But oh, wait, what is that amongst the man's face, either in front or behind it? But a satellite in outer space with its little satellite light looking down at the buoy.
All right. And it is the woman is Kristen Stewart. The man is Stephen Ewan. And I think that's how you pronounce his name. Yoon, perhaps.
Yoon? Yoon?
Yeun. I've seen his name written many times, never heard it pronounced. Yoon, I would probably guess. And the movie is called Love Me. And it is a movie that debuted at Sundance the previous year. So it took a year to make it to theaters and ran for a week or two when I was able to catch it, and then hits VOD right now. The plot is it's after the apocalypse. This buoy is a smart buoy, AI equipped, that survives the apocalypse. The satellite encircling Earth is something that was launched just before the apocalypse to contain a record of humanity and all of humanity's information stored on a gigantic hard drive, which mainly contains YouTube and Instagram, which these two artificial intelligences use to explore what it means to be human and create virtual avatars of themselves and fall in love while trying to be human. And it got so-so reviews, and it was a so-so movie. I thought it was fairly interesting the way it was done. Not a particularly deep movie like some of the other ones that you might think of that's in sort of this vein, like the movie Her or Hal from 2001. A lot of experimental type film techniques from first time users. Short, and I'll be on the borderline of recommending it. You'd have to be in the mood for it. Probably a good movie for a couple to watch. Not as predictable a romance as you usually think from this genre. The sci-fi elements do liven it up somewhat. That's Love Me Now, out on VOD. And our final topic of the week is one that Giles has seen, not in this lavish version.
Yeah, it is lavish. Yeah.
But so I guess, Giles, you can describe this. What is it, a promotional photograph of?
Yeah, promotional photograph. Well, we have going on the top, we have the title and the subtitle of the film, and going left to right, we have an inner case with a Japanese animation beautiful woman with long ropes of white hair sort of spread out, reaching the edges of the display. She's wearing a crimson, I'll call it a formal bodice dress, and above her float several different sized red orbs, and then there are some red orbs to the right. Overall, a whole lot of red going on, and she appears to be slumbering, or at least at peace in some way, shape, or form. In the middle are two discs provided, one of which has the motion picture on it, the other which is, well, let's see, I can probably look over here and cheat a little bit.
Soundtrack CD.
Soundtrack CD, thank you, Greg. And those are displayed cunningly in a very appetizing way. And to the right, I'm guessing, is the outer cover, which is a nice, sleek black with written top to bottom, but sideways. So hold the case 90 degrees from what you normally might. And you will again see the name of the movie and the subtitle of the movie. And in front of this delightful array is an open booklet with a number of stills on it, which is further promotional material for, yes, the special booklet mentioned on the website selling this nice collector's edition.
Oh, and the name?
Kizumonogatari, Koyomi Vamp.
I love your pronunciation. You very I would stumble over it, but you just jump right
You
into it.
gotta, well, yeah, yeah, it's one of
Kizumonogatari.
those things. If you stop to think, you're going to be doomed.
Yeah. Kizumonogatari. Gataki. Gataki. Gataki or
Gataki?
Gatari? I can't
Yeah,
tell if
let's
that's a
see.
K
Let's
or
look for
no.
a less stylized
That's
letter
an R.
here. Gatari. Yeah, okay. Kizumonogatari.
Ah, yes. And Koyomi Vamp.
Yeah,
This is a movie, Giles, that you've actually seen.
I
So
have. And I
tell
learned,
us about it.
yeah, I
Good luck.
learned after the fact. This is, let me just get my electrode notes up here. It's worth mentioning. Oh, yeah, this is from Tatsuya Oishi. And it's a reimagining of a mini series he had done earlier. However, he sort of started from scratch with the tool, with the bits he had. He re-edited the whole thing, got in the original actors to do further lines as was necessary. So it's not just, I know sometimes, unfortunately, these things have had just a nasty splicing together as a quote new thing. This one, from my understanding, is pretty darn new, and certainly was worth it for me, not having seen the original series. This was an alternately fun, ultra-violent, always visually arresting, neat bit of vampire imaginings taking place in, I believe, then contemporary, probably Tokyo. I was, yeah, why it might make apocrypha bit is with the recent death of Godard, I was saddened he wouldn't be able to co-direct that Neato vampire cartoon with Bill Plimpton. Fortunately, Tatsuo Ishii has that covered. So that, for those who know Godard and Plimpton, should now have a much better gist of the kind of things going on. There are little like on-screen flashes of ironic counterpoint titles. There is a tremendous, tremendous use of animation. I always love it when I see line pushed to its boundaries in ways that's not just capturing reality, but is going for something beyond. So yes, this was a whole lot of fun to check out at Fantasia, and now you can check it out too.
And I'll just two quick notes about it. One, this is only available from Crunchyroll, and it's an exclusive for them, and we'll have a link to purchase it, from which we will not get a, fee. So you can buy it knowing you won't give us anything. And also, it's from Aniplex, which brings us back to our beginning, because Aniplex is one of the corporate partners in Ame Pippin, the Yuasa new studio. And so that's it. We came around full circle very nicely. And so we'll be back next week with something very similar to what we did this week, although I think we have a lot more movies to discuss and a lot more current movies. But we're going to say goodbye for now, since we have about 5 seconds. So bye
Cheers,
bye.
everybody.
See you next week. Like and subscribe and so forth.